Well, it's not exactly a holiday, but it kind of feels like one. Sometimes there's a lot of business being done here at Grand Hotel and the rest of Mackinac Island at this Detroit Regional Chamber Policy Conference. You say, what goes on? Well, in Grand Hotel, they have sessions just like any old conference, but then they spill out into sort of breakout sessions at the various restaurants and pubs, and there are all sorts of little gatherings here and there and everywhere, and you see all kind of interesting things because people tend to let their hair down, whether they're legislators or business leaders, and they tend to relax a little bit. For instance, yesterday in Horns, who was having that reception? I'm not even oh, no, it was Clark Hill. It was Clark Hill, and one of their, was it CompuWare? I think it was. And there was the former Senate Majority Leader and the former Speaker of the House, only a year removed from office, mugging it up and laughing it up and having a good time. And Mike Bishop put the headlock on Andy Dillon. And imagine if they'd done that a year ago. They probably wanted to a year ago, but now that they're both in different roles, you know, there's no problem there. So what will happen is today there will be in the agenda this morning, emerging leaders. There'll be a luncheon, and then rebuilding Michigan's strategic advantage. The speaker there will be Michael Porter, the professor from the Harvard Business School, and then later, healthcare's role in Michigan's economic recovery. And we're going to talk with Dan Lepp, the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. He'll be with us later. And those are some of the things that are happening this morning. We are brought to you this morning here by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Clark Hill, AARP, Family Resource Centers, and Health Partners. And this morning joined here in what is effectively our television and radio studio by Gary Hausman, the Director of Family Resource Centers in Muskegon. And you can find out more about them at onefamilyonePlan.org. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What do you make of this conference so far?
So far, I kind of like it. It's kind of exciting. I've never been up here for this, and it's nice to see these kinds of things happening and actually looking at how to make differences in people's lives in the state.
That's what you specialize in. When you hear people talking about reinventing Michigan, that strikes a chord with you.
It really does. What we've done in Muskegon is we've taken a concept of family resource centers that started about 2003 in Michigan. And we've kind of expanded that concept, and we've brought all the agencies into the schools. Originally, it was for failing schools. And when we brought those family resources centers into the schools in Muskegon, those schools made adequate yearly progress. And we never had anything to really measure if that was really what the family resource centers did or not.
How's that progress measured?
Typically by the MEP scores, attendance, dropout rates, and so on.
What sort of what do you do to help those schools?
Well, what we've done now is we put family resource centers in every school district in Muskegon County, and we've done that through a number of different ways in cooperation with the agencies that are a part of the social services in Muskegon. So each school has opened up an office with the Department of Human Resources worker in there, so they are just a part of the staff. So they're there all the time. They're doing their job on site. What we've also done is we've been able to work out agreements with a family court and community mental health, the police departments. So we're all working together to really make a difference in bringing the services to the kids and the families that need them. What we really specialize in is a one-stop shop where you can come in, and it doesn't really matter what the issue is that you're dealing with. Maybe your kids are failing school, or they're having attendance problems, or maybe you've just been evicted, or whatever it might be that a family might be struggling with and the resources aren't there for them. They can come into the school, they can start the process, and we bring all the advisors that we have access to around the table, and we help that family sort through what the issue is and move them into a better place.
What's the most frequent issue that you come across?
Attendance.
Oh, really?
Really attendance for the school. It's attendance. Just getting kids to school. That truancy issue is huge. But we've been able to work with some mediation centers and developing some partnerships through the court, so we don't really have to follow through with the same kinds of punitive reactions to kids that are missing. What we really look at is, why are you not coming to school? And sometimes it's because they don't have an alarm clock, or they can't get transportation to school.
Simple as that.
As simple as that. And then we can arrange for the transportation. We get bus passes if we have to do that. We've tried to work with our local regional transportation, the MATS system, so we can change some of the schedules so kids can actually get on the buses if they need to. So whatever it takes, we try to do that, and we have the kinds of support to the community through all the agencies that we work with in the schools to actually pull that off.
Did something happen to set you on this path personally?
I've been a social worker for 32 years
Yeah.
and have worked in the schools and in the community.
What percentage of being a social worker is heartbreaking versus rewarding?
It depends how you look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think even the heartbreaking things can be rewarding if you can get somebody through to the other side. You have to realize, as you're working with people, that they are pretty resilient. And it's not always thinking about a person as being a problem as much as a person having a problem. And if you can take a look at a person differently that way, you can usually work better with them. The other thing that we do often in the Family Resource Centers is when we work with the families, we work with them up front. We have a different way of starting with them. So when we sit down and talk to them about whatever that issue is, we're asking for their input. We're not telling them that
What
they're
to do.
broken. Yes, I mean we're asking them for their input. We want to know what they see their needs are and how they can see themselves getting out of what the problem is that they have.
So the rest of the state and anyone else listening can go to onefamilyonePlan.org. That's Family Resource Centers of Muskegon's website.
That's
And
correct.
they'll learn what you're up to and maybe create models across the country of the same thing.
That's exactly what we're hoping. We actually have been presenting across the country this model because it is sustainable.
We'll start there. OnefamilyonePlan.org. Congratulations on your 3, almost 4 decades now of social work.
Thank you.
Must take incredible patience and a lot of heart, too.
Thank you.
All the best to you. Thank you. Gary Hausman. OnefamilyonePlan.org. You spell out the number 1 in order to do that. We'll talk politics here at the Detroit Regional Chamber Policy Conference in 3 little minutes. Stay with us. It's Michael Patrick Shields, Michigan's Morning Show.